Greetings and salutations, Geo nerds. So what are these World War I heroes skinny dipping in the South Pine River just near Cassius Crossing got to do with these bunch of pioneers who look like a band of bushrangers, but I assure you they're not, and this awesome Northside Tavern and Music venue? Well, hang around, we'll find out together. Well, Geo nerds, here we are. This is the old North Road. We just left Kelvin Grove, heading out along Kelvin Grove Road, actually. And up here we go. This is the road at Alderley. It does this turn there. You can see the old road there. Heads up to what is now South Pine Road. It was always Old North Road. There's the bridge. Well, look at that bridge 100 years ago. Past the Anaconda and up through Everton Hills we go. When I was a kid, this was a dirt road, just dodging between the trees. There's Roadie Road going under there, heading over to Albany Creek. Oops, we run off 3D land here, but anyway, you get that. Heading over, we're only going to do this first segment today, because this will be a really long video if we don't. Heading over here, and what we can see in the distance here is Cassius Crossing. So Old Northern Road doesn't go that way, it actually goes down here, down towards the shops, and it goes across the river here, and we'll have a look at that on the ground. I've walked all that for you with some video. Up here, and it goes straight up. You can see it there going up, and it runs through the Eaton's Hill Tavern. So let's have a look at this a bit better. So the Old North Road, well, in the 1840s, the Archer brothers needed a way to get to their property up at Durrendale. So they had their supplies down here in Brisbane, so they just developed this road. You can see South Pine River there, the North Pine River crossing there at Draper's Crossing, still all there. Right, most of this road still exists, not all of it. We'll follow it. We're going to follow it over a series of 6 videos. This is the first video. Up across Burpengary Creek, up across the Caboolture River, all the way up through what is now Woodford. In those days it was nothing, it was just a ford across the river where the wood farm was, Wood Ford. Anyway, let's continue on. 1841, remember that. Well, folks, here we are down at what's now really Everton Hills. This is, note that name, McDowell Bridge down there, and that's where Anaconda and Spotlight is nowadays. We're heading up through Everton Hills. McDowell's got a bit more land up there, Bob. There's Stafford Road coming in there, up through there. I notice John Carter's there. I thought he went to Mars. Anyway, different story. Through here, you can see the road's changed a little bit, but not much. In the 1970s, when I learnt to drive, that road was pretty much like that. So we're coming up here to Albany Creek, what was then called Chinaman's Creek, a bit non-PC, and there's Cassius Crossing there. I'll put a ring around it for you. And that, of course, here, Robinson there, good old Brisbane names. Anyway, let's have a look at Brisbane. Now, we're talking, these guys were in 1841. This is what Brisbane looked like. You can still see Wheat Creek up there. You can see Frogs Hollow down there. Brisbane was, in 1841, we still had lots of convicts here. These would have been one of the first free settlers in the area. And when they selected their property up there, the north side of what's now Woodford, they would have been the most northern settled people in Australia. No question of it. So who are we talking about? We're talking about the Archer brothers. Here they are. I think the guy in the middle at the back's a ringing. He's one of their mates. The two main guys, it's this guy, Archibald Archer. Yeah, Archibald, sorry. Really? Archie Archer? Anyway, parents must have liked him too much, and Charles Archer, the two main protagonists that I could actually find photographs of. And they had a property up there called Dundenbar, and it was just north of Woodford. There's a memorial there to it now. You can go and see it. This is a sketch of it. Not a very good sketch of it. Let's have a look at what we're dealing with. What's seeing here is South Pine Road and Gordon Parade. That still exists. Crazy. This is Woodford, taken in the 1920s from their property, looking across the valley. Colorised, of course. And this is the Wood family, Mr. and Mrs. Wood and their two daughters. The Wood that the Wood Ford was named after. They owned the property where you could cross the creek. And of course, there weren't a lot of horses because horses were too sooky. They used oxen, bullocks, bullock teams like this, as you saw at the beginning. Bullock teams drove this, they would have taken their freight up there, and these guys followed Aboriginal pathways, as we'll see when we go through the bush. North of here, to Cash's Crossing, it's pretty obvious. I'm going to show you some video in a minute of where the old road is. You can still see it. This is McDowell Bridge, by the way. Over behind these people is where Spotlight is now. Heroes, 1915, 25th Regiment. 3 months later, they're at Gallipoli. How many of these guys didn't exist after that? Terrible. That's the Cash's Crossing Bridge in 1915. This is Strathpine in the 1920s. That's Gympie Road, Strathpine. Just threw that one in because it's just bit of perspective as how this place has changed. And of course, what's built on top of Old Northern Road? Well, it's not Old Northern Road, it's actually this Eaton's Hill Tavern. And I'll show you that in a minute. I'll walk that and you can see the old road where it is. You can see the cutting. You can walk it yourself, I suppose. The fence was down, I just walked through the fence. Let's have a look at that now. Well, folks, here we are. We're out the side of the Eaton's Hill Tavern. The little paddock there. Bit of a break in the fence, looks good. There's the old North Road as it comes up out of the creek, where it did for well over 100 years, probably 150 years before they built the new road. So there we are there, and as you can see, it's pretty obvious when you see it. I'll show you a satellite photo of it in a minute. It's even more obvious, and if we spin around here, you can see it actually came up between the trees there. You can see the little avenue under those two trees. They're one on either side of the road. The wagons have cut down into it and the bullock teams, and when it went through the car park here, they didn't even bother filling it in. They just concreted down into the divot. You can see it pretty plain. Fence dips down there because that's where it was, and here's the satellite photo. Pretty obvious. You can see where it came. You can't see it in the river anymore because the river's been resurfaced so many times, but there it is, Old North Road at Albany Creek. We're going to do the next section next time. Well, there you go, folks. We're going to walk the Old North Road a bit. Some of it's private property we can't get to. A lot of it is available. Use our satellite superpowers and stuff to make a story out of it for you. 6 videos, though. 6 videos. We haven't even got out of Brisbane yet, barely. Anyway, keep rocking. T-Rock's out.